Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time. Were you proudly wearing your A&M varsity letter jacket when they came back against South Carolina on Saturday?
Smokey, I was actually in San Antonio at
Oh,
UIW's game against Southeastern, and Mark, my buddy Dennard, kept calling me, and he's going 21 to 20. Then he's going 20. Then all he says, he calls me, and I'm on the sideline. He goes, "You think I'm crazy?" He said, "It's 30-3, but I believe A&M can beat them." I said, "Well, what in the hell have they done?" He said, I said, "They're going to get 5 or 6 possessions. They're going to have to score every time and hold them." And lo and behold, and he told me, he said, I think A&M will come back. And, I talked text with Colin Klein, and Colin, he said, as bad as we played the first half, with the exception of one play, we played that well the second half. And it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, let me ask you about that play. I don't know if you saw it. It was the only time during the game he got cute, and he ran a little trick play on the 2-yard line, which is about 50 yards closer to me than you want to want a trick play. But he did that. The defense bowed up. How tempting is it as a coach to see something and decide to call it, even though it may not be the right time?
Paul, we all know second guessing's the part of the game, right? Yeah. I think that he thought it was a terrible call, and he said, "I didn't feel good." But he said last year they struggled with short yardage, and they were trying to get it into a hand. Morrow, the young back, who's a freshman, they thought it was something that they could knock him off the ball. And, it's one of those things, if it would work, they'd say, "Hey, that's a great job." Took it out of Reed's hand and got it in the running back, and you scored. But it was almost a fatal play. No question.
Coach had another couple games in the SEC that were big money games there with Texas, Georgia, but also OU, Alabama. I'll just ask you about one of them, and the guys can clean up the rest. But Brent Venables and that defense, they are sure playing a particularly fun brand of football right now.
They are fun to watch. I mean, they're aggressive. They play both the run and the pass well. The pressure package. I thought the quarterback at Alabama, he hasn't seen that. He didn't see it versus Georgia. I mean, he just you could tell Simpson was off his game, and it was due to pressure. Bowman's touchdown defensively was a beauty, and it turned the whole game around. And this is back-to-back years that Oklahoma has put a dent in Alabama.
Yeah, that was there was that thought OU kind of floundered last year. Are they going to end up being like what Nebraska became or is in the Big Ten? But they're Oklahoma, damn, Phil. I mean, you know that. You've been there.
Yeah.
I think maybe because Texas was so good the first year in the SEC, but Oklahoma has the history because they're Oklahoma.
I always say this. I played in a golf tournament in San Antonio last summer, and the quarterback that was at Oklahoma that went to A&M. We actually that year knocked him out of the game. Do you remember his name? In 14,
the quarterback that went.
Yeah, he left Oklahoma and went to
A&M.
Oh,
he's the one that
Trevor Knight.
Trevor Knight.
Trevor.
Yeah,
great kid.
Yep.
And Trevor told me, he said, "Coach," he said, I took this as a great compliment. I think he was talking about when they played Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. He said, "Coach," he said, I guess I'd forgot about that. It was like 35-14. So Oklahoma has beaten Alabama, in the recent history, I think 3-0. So a lot of people underestimated, and I heard that you guys didn't bet it, and I don't blame you. I would have bet Alabama also.
Yeah. No, and their defense does look like it just kind of swarms you now, and they got great speed. Man, do they have great speed. Phil Bennett with us Mondays at 5 to kind of look back at the weekend and a couple of other notes in college football.
Phil, Texas got kind of cleaned out talent-wise, I think, and people maybe didn't realize it as much because of the recruiting pipeline that they have. When you watch them now, and obviously like what Kirby Smart's doing at Georgia is a big part of why they got thumped so bad. But do you think that they look so kind of blah by last year's standards? Is most of these guys just haven't played except these 10 games they played so far?
I think it's obvious, Paul, that even on defense, they had those big those interior linemen that, I mean, they two guys could occupy four. They don't have that anymore. I think that the most notable thing is they can't run the ball. I mean, Georgia is not your typical what Georgia has been D-line, and they dominated the line of scrimmage. I think there's a reason, and I've said this to anybody that will listen, that Sarkisian has not, touted Arch Manning. He understands. I can't tell you Arch Manning is going to get there, but at this point, he is as about as average as you can get at a Power 4 quarterback. He's not a playmaker, run or pass, and he just hasn't been consistent. They can't run the ball. Offensive line is not what it was. Receiver, they got one, but not a group of them. And I look at it as a talent thing. Also, I think people are seeing why Quinn Ewing was the quarterback last year.
Coach, how much did you appreciate Kirby Smart just saying we're rolling it all out there and we're gonna go and we're gonna stick you right in the jugular vein and end this thing?
I don't know Kirby well, but I love his personality. I mean, he has to be a guy that's fun to play for. I mean, some coaches we watch sit there and they look like they're in Zen moments. This guy is wound up like an 8-day clock. and I love it. And can't you see those players are feeding off that? I mean, Glenn Schumann, the young defensive coordinator, his special team coach, they came in with a plan, and that plan was pretty simple. And I heard a friend of mine that's on the staff say this. Kirby says, hey, both times we played them, we've been underdogs. Let's kick their ass without a doubt. And they did.
Somebody, it was just a random fan, but they said that Kirby Smart, if he couldn't coach football, would be in an insane asylum. That he is like a wild, crazy-ass guy. I mean,
he looked like on the sideline, he looked like Jack Nicholson and One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest.
He did.
He was jacked up. And when they got that onside kick, I mean, he went into another gear. And you know what got me? You had Sark sitting there giving that, and then the special team coach, the pole dancer's husband. I mean, he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
No, I tweeted out after that Jeff Banks hadn't been that mad since they canceled 2-for-1 lap dances.
That's exactly right.
Phil, Baylor got walloped by Utah this week. Obviously, there's the entire Max situation that's going on that adds into this when it comes to Dave Aranda and his future. But do you see any path forward where Dave Aranda comes back and the fans buy into that?
I looked at the stadium, and after spending 6 years there, and 6 wonderful years of great football, great fan support, I was shocked at the stadium. And as the game went on, I don't know, Paul. I know with Mac's situation, I don't know who's in charge. I don't know if the president or the board of regents. I think that you saw maybe Baylor at its lowest, even in 16. We were a competitive team. The last game we played, we beat Boise. I mean, there was a lot of things going on. That game was out. I thought when they got it to 28-20, maybe a chance. but defensively they just can't match up with anyone that can run the ball. I think there's the decision makers are going to have a plan in place, and I'm sure it's being worked on right now, and I don't know that answer.
So Utah had a 64-yard touchdown run to break it open, then a 74-yard touchdown run. They had a 67-yard touchdown run. I mean, 380 rushing yards in this game. Utah barely threw for over 100 yards because they didn't need to.
Yeah.
Dave Aranda is a defensive guy, Coach. Is this talent? Is this like what is not connecting here from what you see?
Well, I said this, Craig, before. There's things you can do. When I was at Baylor, we were never really big. We had a great player in Andrew Billings, big guy. But other than that, we were more speed oriented. You have to move a little bit. You got to do some things. We don't do that. We don't make it hard on the defense at all. I mean, they know where we're going to be pretty much every play. And it surprises me a little bit because when we had the linebacker 52 last year, we would run him through, do some things, but we don't do that anymore. The one thing you can do as a defensive coach, where you put your people dictates where they're going to run. So one of the things Randy Clements used to always, every time he talks to me, he goes, we always knew when we played you, whatever our best play was, you were going to stop it. You were going to make us left-handed. And we don't do that. And I say this again, the schematics that Utah uses is similar back of the Big 12 days, of what Art did. There's more ways. You still have to be physical, but schematically, there's plays, the quarterback counter, the things they were doing. You got to get your fits right, and you got to have the right numbers. And we didn't have a chance.
I was asked this question, a direct message on Twitter, and I didn't respond to it, but I asked Dave about, the next couple of weeks and the decision. Is AD that hired him and then extended him, et cetera, and decided to bring him back is gone. But how about the 2 high quarters that they stayed in and kept getting gashed? Is that a scheme thing that you could help kind of bring? Yeah.
I mean, what kind of death do you want to die? I mean, if you're giving up, multiple explosive runs, plus it up, move the safety, get him in the box, bring the safety down, bring the short side of the frame, bring the corner, bring the safety, bring the wheel, bring the nickel. We just didn't, we're very complacent, and I am being critical, but I would tell him this. So I don't have any, the thing defensively that you have to do, they've got to search for you. When you move people a little bit, you can ask the best line coach in America. It slows down their aggressiveness. Now, they might block you, might get better, but when you can slow them down, you can dictate some things. We don't challenge the offense. And I saw it the first game against Auburn, and it's got progressively worse.
Phil, if you don't mind, Paul, so Mack Rhodes hired Dave Aranda. He then also extended Dave Aranda and then decided that they would stick with Dave Aranda. He's gone. How scary is that as a head coach, even if you kind of see the writing on the wall?
Smoke, I'm just wanting to know is there someone there in charge? Is there somewhere there that is powerful enough to make a decision saying, hey, we've got a problem. Look at these stands, okay? Look at our performance and our moneymaker in a time where everything, timing is everything. You're going to have to fill the roster. I don't know if the quarterback's coming back, but a lot of the guys won't be coming back. I'm telling you, somebody better take a hold of the reins and make a decision.
Last thing for me, Coach, James Franklin, hired at Virginia Tech. How do you grade that hire?
I think it's a good hire. He's a proven coach. Won at Vanderbilt, won not at the level they wanted at Penn State, But James Franklin, here's the first thing he'll do. He'll bring a very quality staff with him right away. He'll recruit hard. He is a guy that I think it's a very good hire. Congrats to Virginia Tech. Good move.
Phil Bennett with us on Mondays. And I didn't see the score Incarnate Word. I know your son's on the staff. How are they doing?
Listen, it's been one of those years. They've got 11 guys playing in Power 4 schools starting that were there. And it's been they've been competitive. Saturday, 10-7, they're on the 15-yard line, Southeast Louisiana, who was scoring 40-something points a game. And so they're going to kick it. They got the best kicker in the league to tie it up. We're going to overtime. He hits the crossbar. So, they've had one of those years, very competitive, just hadn't been good enough to get it over.
How about Stephen F. Austin winning the Southland Conference with Kobe Carthel?
They've done a good job. I watched them. They last year I went to the Incarnate Word won the championship at Nacogdoches, and I'll never forget this. Kobe told me, he said, "We're going to win it next year," and they did.
Wow. Okay.
Sure
He's been there a while after what he did at A&M Commerce, or now A&M Texas. What is it? East Texas A&M.
Yeah, and you know what he does, and what Incarnate Word has done good is they've evaluated well. The guys that they took. You look at A&M. How important are those receivers they evaluated?
My goodness, yeah.
Evaluation is big.
Go home or go home. Hell, go watch that A&M game. You will die watching all the momentum shifts. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, guys.